Hey, this is Frank from Maxiality, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can become a content ID machine so you never run out of post IDs. Because sometimes you might be struggling to come up with fresh IDs, right? I've had that before in the past as well, and staring at a blank screen or a document can be kind of hard and just waiting for inspiration to hit you. So to help you out, I've created a step-by-step process with automation tools so you can become a content ID machine. First of all, I think it's important to stay curious. What I mean by that is that you have to find and follow influential creators on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and also include blogs and podcasts. You can also check Quora and Reddit for trending questions in your niche. And if you do this regularly, you'll have inspiration for new things to post. Next up, I think it's important to capture the IDs. Write them down and just put them in some sort of system that you can use. And if you have these ideas that inspire you, you can use it because they might turn into some great content. One great way to do that is to use Raindrop IO, and I'm going to show you how to use that. Once you capture the ideas, you can organize and automate them. And all my content ideas are automatically sent to an Airtable file to keep things organized. From this Airtable file, once every 2 weeks or so, I check my IDs and update the status of new IDs so I can create them or just delete them. So there are a couple of automation tools that you can use. This is a blog that we wrote, The Power of Subject Matter Experts, Secret Weapon in B2B Marketing. And if I scroll down, I might find something that I would like to use as inspiration for one of our posts that we would like to use. So what I can do is just, I can select this and copy it, and then I can put it into this Chrome extension. And this Chrome extension, if I use it, I can send it over. I've already did this, by the way, but I can send it over to raindrop.io. Raindrop is like an extension that you run inside your browser, and it will create a sort of a Google Sheet or more or less a database with all your content IDs. So here are my content IDs I created, and you see this is the one that I created, The Power of Subject Matter Experts. But what I'm doing is I send this over to Airtable. Airtable is my content repository. I keep all my IDs in there. So this is a list of the IDs I got, and these are the posts that are based on the IDs. So the latest one that I added was the one you just saw from Raindrop, right? And from our own blog. And here is the content ID that I selected, the snippet from the site, and the URL, and it's got a status. I get these content IDs in there using Pipedream. It's just some sort of way to automate things on the internet. And this is the one that I use to send Raindrop notes to my Airtable. So if I click on this one and edit it, you will see that there's a trigger. And a trigger is it just looks for something new in Raindrop to send over to the Airtable. And it will look in content IDs, and that's actually the folder that I created, or the collection is actually called, in Raindrop. And it will make sure that every 15 minutes we'll check if there's a new content ID, and if there's one, it will create a single record into my Airtable repository. And it will put it into content IDs, and it will also add a status called to do. And that's what you see right here. It will send it over and it'll get a status to do. So every 2 weeks or so, I'll check if there's anything new. And if I'll change this one to ready for generation, what will happen is a Zapier flow will be created. I'm using Zapier to convert my IDs into posts that I can use. Of course, I will not just use the posts that are generated by ChatGPT. I will use them as inspiration, and I'll tweak it, of course, and use my own insights to create a real post that I can use. So what you can see is if I will change this one to ready for generation, it will run through a Zapier automation and it will create this output. So this is the content ID that you already saw, right? And if I scroll down, you will see the LinkedIn post over there. Of course, I'm not going to use this one at all. I'm going to, of course, change it and edit it, but it's just inspiration for me to create something. So let's check out the Zapier workflow. It starts with check if there's a new or updated record in Airtable. And if there is a new or updated record in Airtable, the Zapier flow will continue only if the status field contains ready for generation. So when that status field is set, it will use ChatGPT, a paid ChatGPT API call, with this message: act like your social media copywriter skilled in creating viral and educational posts. Well, It's a long story, right? Exclude any emojis, exclude any hashtag. Well, this doesn't really work. Every now and then it just fails. But anyway, it will make sure it will create a post based on the input. And this is the model we're using right now. It also has a memory key, and that's used in one of the next steps. So the next step is to remove all the emojis and put every sentence on a separate line. So this uses the output actually created from ChatGPT to use this again in ChatGPT. So it's the second time that we're using it. For the next step, it will create a short quote. And this quote can be used in an image, for example. So it takes the complete post it had generated and will create a small quote from it. That also will be updated in the Airtable. After that, all the records will be put into the Airtable fields. So the post is there and the quote is there. In this step, the Zapier workflow will look into the other table and it will search for the specific content that we used as an input. And when it's found, it will update the table with status generated post. And when the Zapier flow is finished, the quote is there and the post is there as well based on the input. And that can be used to fine tune, of course. I will never post this output from ChatGPT right away. I will always tweak it and edit it and just use my own insights as well. And when I do that, this will be the actual post that I used on LinkedIn. So I really hope you enjoyed this video on how to create a content machine, and see you in the next one.